Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping into the really fascinating world of Linux. It can seem a bit overwhelming, right?
To so many choices.
Exactly. So our mission today is pretty clear. Cut through all that, help you understand what really matters when you're picking a Linux distribution, and, guide you toward one that actually fits what you need and how comfortable you are with this stuff.
And that's a key point, because Linux itself, well, it's technically just the kernel, the core bit that talks to the hardware.
Right, the engine.
Precisely. What you actually download and install, those are the distributions or distros. Think of them like curated collections. They take the Linux kernel, add thousands of other open source bits, a way to manage software, usually a desktop you can click around in. It's all about the choices someone else made to package it up.
Okay, so if there are tons of these distros, these curated packages, how do you even start comparing them? It feels like a bit of a digital jungle out there.
It really can. But you can break it down. There are some fundamental differences in philosophy and, the technical approach they take. One of the biggest ones is the release model. How often does it get major updates?
Okay, like how new is the software?
Exactly. So you've got fixed or point releases. Think Ubuntu, Debian, Fedora. These are built for stability. Really predictable, often with long-term support or LTS versions. Solid as a rock.
Makes sense. Good for servers, or if you just want things to, not break.
Right. The trade-off, though, is usually that the software isn't the absolute latest version. It's been tested, sometimes for a long time.
So stability first. What's the flip side?
That would be rolling releases. Arch Linux is a famous example, Gen 2 as well. These give you the very latest software, the newest drivers, pretty much as soon as they're available. Great if you need cutting-edge features.
But I sense a but coming.
Yeah, there's always a trade-off. Rolling releases need more, let's say, attention from you, more frequent updates, and sometimes that means things might break and you'll need to fix them. It's more hands-on.
Okay, fix for stability, rolling for newness. Got it. How about how the software itself actually gets to you? Is it always just download and install?
Good question. That brings us to system architecture. Most distros you'll encounter are binary distributions.
Binary,
meaning the software is already compiled, pre-built for your computer's architecture. You just download the package and the system installs it. Super fast, really easy, most common approach.
Okay, seems straightforward. What else is there?
Well, then you have source-based distributions. Gen 2 is the prime example here. Instead of downloading ready-made software, you download the source code.
The actual programming code.
Yep. And then your computer compiles it, builds the software specifically for your system. That gives you incredible control. You can fine-tune everything, enable or disable specific features using things called UUs flags. It's like engineering your OS piece by piece.
Wow. Okay, that sounds involved.
It absolutely is. Very time-consuming, needs real expertise. But the payoff is a system that's potentially faster and leaner, tailored exactly to your hardware and needs. Total transparency.
So ease versus control, again. And how do you manage all this software once it's installed? I hear about things like apt and pacman.
Right, the package management ecosystem, that's crucial. You've got apt, which is common in Debian and Ubuntu systems, known for being very stable, very robust. Then there's DNF, used by Fedora, also very solid. And pacman is what Arch Linux uses. It's known for being fast and relatively simple.
And these reflect the distro's philosophy too, right?
Totally. Like Arch's pacman works hand in hand with the Arch user repository, the AUR. It's this huge community-driven collection of build scripts for software not in the main repositories. It really embraces that bleeding-edge do-it-yourself spirit.
This is making a lot more sense. It's about understanding these core choices.
Yeah.
So let's translate this. For someone listening, maybe thinking of trying Linux out, where should they start? The beginner user.
Yeah, good place to start. For someone totally new, especially coming from Windows, I almost always recommend Linux Mint.
Mint. Why Mint?
It just works. Seriously. The Cinnamon desktop environment feels very familiar, very intuitive. It includes things like media codecs right out of the box, so your music and videos play without hassle. And crucially, it has a tool called Time Shift.
Time Shift, like system restore.
Exactly. It takes snapshots of your system. If an update goes wrong or you mess something up, you can easily roll back. It's a fantastic safety net for beginners.
That sounds incredibly useful. What about Ubuntu? It's probably the name most people have heard.
Ubuntu is definitely huge, very well supported, lots of documentation. It's a solid choice too. But there's some debate in the community about its snap package format. Some users find snaps can be a bit slower or have issues compared to traditional packages. Mint kind of avoids that controversy for beginners.
Okay, Mint for the smooth start. What about someone who's used Mint or Ubuntu for a while? They're comfortable, maybe wants to dig a bit deeper, the intermediate user.
Right. Now you have choices based on what you value next. If rock-solid stability is paramount, maybe for a work machine or a home server, then Debian is the answer.
Debian. That's what Ubuntu is based on, right?
It is. Debian is like the bedrock. It's famous for its stability, massive software repositories, just runs and runs. Updates are less frequent, but heavily tested.
Okay, the reliable workhorse. What if you're more curious, want to understand the system better?
Then I'd point you towards Arch Linux.
Whoa, jump straight to Arch. I hear that's pretty hardcore.
It has that reputation, but it's more do-it-yourself than inherently difficult. You install a minimal base system and then build exactly what you want on top. There's no hand-holding, but the process forces you to learn. And the Arch Wiki. It's arguably the best documentation in the entire Linux world. Combine that with the AUR we mentioned, it's incredibly powerful. It's a gateway to mastery.
So Debian for stability, Arch for learning and customization. Interesting. Okay, let's go all the way. The expert user, they know their way around. Maybe they are system architects. What's for them?
Well, for many experts, Arch Linux remains fantastic. It's efficient, lean, gives you precise control, and you can keep it cutting edge. It becomes less about learning and more about pure efficiency.
Still Arch.
Okay.
Is there anything more?
Oh, yes. If you want ultimate control, the ability to build your system from the source up, optimized for your specific hardware. That's Gen 2.
Back to source-based.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Using those USE flags, you compile everything. It takes a lot of time, both initially and for updates, but you end up with a system engineered by you for you. It's sometimes called a meta distribution because it gives you the tools to build your own tailored distro.
That sounds like the peak, almost.
Almost. For the absolute deepest learning experience, though maybe not for a daily computer, there's Linux from Scratch, or LFS.
From scratch.
Yep, it's not even a distribution you download. It's literally a book, a set of instructions that guides you through downloading the source code for every single component of a basic Linux system, the kernel, the compiler, core utilities, and compiling and assembling it all yourself, piece by piece.
Wow. You literally build your own Linux system from nothing.
Pretty much. You won't end up with a fancy desktop easily, but you will understand exactly how a Linux system is put together. It's purely educational, but incredibly insightful.
Okay, that's quite the journey. From Mint's ease of use all the way to building it yourself with LFS. So wrapping this up, it really sounds like the Linux path is super personal.
It absolutely is. It evolves. You might start wanting something easy, then crave more understanding, and eventually demand total control. There's no single best distro out there.
Yeah, that seems clear.
The best one is the one that empowers you right now to do what you want to do, whether that's just browsing the web or, meticulously optimizing your kernel compilation flags.
So a final thought for everyone listening. As you go on your own Linux journey, or maybe start one after hearing this, think about what kind of user you want to become. Are you looking for a tool, a platform to build on? Or are you aiming to be the architect of your own digital world?